Welcome back to the Women's Direction. My name is Mackenzie, and today we will be reacting to horrifying stories from film sets. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mackenzie, and as I said, today we are going to be doing something a little bit different for the channel and reacting to horror stories from film sets. I thought this would be something kind of fun to do for Halloween, so let's just get into it. So our first one comes in from future filmmakers, so make sure to go and follow them on TikTok for more content.
It's a late night, and we're like in the woods filming because Hannah's in.
Already a red flag. Late night in the woods? Are you kidding me? She says, knowing full well that like the script I'm currently writing has multiple scenes set in the woods at night. It's great for film. It's so cinematic.
Because Hannah's an inexperienced filmmaker. So she says, let's go out in the woods and film at 3 a.m. in the morning. Painting this picture for you right now. You ready? I feel like I'm overhyping this, but this is actually really true. And we just started filming for the day, had our lighting set up and everything, and our crew behind the camera, and we're about to shoot Amanda doing her amazing lines, and suddenly I hear the biggest boom, a crack of the leaves and the sticks like underneath something's foot or something.
I can tell I don't go outside.
That was definitely something.
What?
I don't know. It was like...
Can I see a good one? Where's the flashlight, the big one?
I don't know.
I mean, I just got it.
What something do you think it was, man?
I don't know.
It was probably an animal. Well, it better not be.
It legit, what it sounded like was that a big animal had like fallen out of the trees. I was like, what on earth was that? And
See, filming in Australia, you gotta watch out for those drop bears, right? They're deadly. And they will fall out of trees and they will kill you. This is also not where I thought this was going. I thought this was gonna be like, the camera got broken, we got lost and we couldn't find our way back out of the woods, and so the film was like never finished, or I didn't realize it was actually gonna be like horror movie-esque.
and everyone turns and like looks in the woods, and then Daniel, our only male on set because we didn't have a big film crew, starts howling.
That would be me. We're gonna die.
Daniel,
Why? That's what you have to do.
I'm so scared that you're gonna draw it towards us.
So all the howls that you hear in the video that you just watched is Daniel howling himself, trying to scare it away, because we didn't want to get eaten that night or anyone get injured.
Daniel!
Don't walk into the woods. Have you not seen a horror movie ever? Never? Split? Oh.
In a horror movie.
So it was a really scary situation. We had to evacuate the set, which was the woods, get everyone in a safe area, and then Daniel and I went back outside to the woods and scoped out the area and grabbed the rest of the film equipment. In that situation, I believe we abandoned like almost everything on the film set, because that is what you should do in that situation. If people's lives are in danger on a film set, you need to drop the camera. I know it's expensive. It's just not okay. It's literally not okay for someone to lose their life on a film set.
Yeah, and there's definitely been some really sad situations of people losing their lives to get the shot. I know that we're storytellers and it's super exciting when you're making a film, but if something's too risky, I mean, this is why you have like your first ADs and your like WHS people like on the set to make sure that nobody is taking stupid risks, nobody is doing like silly things that weren't in the plan, that haven't been like properly scheduled and planned out. Like really shitty accidents happen on film sets all the time, and it's super important to make sure that you're putting your safety checks in place. Even if you are a tiny budget indie film, you've got to be aware of the risks and the dangers that can happen with making a film, particularly in locations like the woods where there are dangerous animals. Yeah, all jokes aside, super important to be safe when making films. Our next one is from Natalia Michelle, so make sure you go and follow her on TikTok for more content.
Set horror stories with Natalia. If y'all want more videos like this, just follow, y'all know what to do. I just turned 16 and I saw this lovely casting call on Facebook saying that they needed a production assistant. For those of you that don't know what the fuck that means, it pretty much means I help out with all the little bitty things on set that people don't really like to do.
I am part of a couple of crewing groups on Facebook. It is really important to make sure that you do your due diligence on who is making those call outs and what is being expected of you on some of those jobs. I answered one of these call outs and the call out looked pretty professional, which is why I responded to it. And then when I looked at the company's website and kind of found out a bit more about who the crew was, I realized that they weren't like quite at the level that they had presented themselves on Facebook. So yeah, just make sure you do your due diligence and like research the shit out of whoever is putting these call outs on Facebook.
I applied, I got it, gave them the email, they sent me the call sheet. It's a 12-hour day, unpaid, but it's okay, been there before.
You've been there before? Bitch, 12 hours unpaid. Red flag number 1. Well, red flag number 2. Red flag number 1 was the Facebook call out. I am definitely a big believer that you should be paid for your time and you are worth being paid for to do the work. A 12-hour day is not unheard of, but normally 10 hours is kind of the standard. At least here in Australia it is. I think that doing unpaid work is fine, but it has to be the right situation. If you are coming together with a group of people that are all super passionate about the story that you're telling, you know, you've had a chance to meet with the people and you get a good vibe from them and you feel like it's going to be a collaborative and fun environment to work in. And also, nobody is getting paid. If you're walking into a situation where like some people are being paid, other people aren't being paid, then that's walking a bit of a line as well. If nobody's getting paid, you're all keen, you all just like really want to get together and tell this story, then I say go for it. I think that's a really great way to continue to work on your skills and learn heaps and make new connections and things like that. I just recently came off first dating on a short film where the situation was just that. You know, we were all super passionate about the project, nobody was getting paid, and we didn't work 12-hour days either. So yes, if you're walking onto a set, unpaid, 12 hours, like, screw the experience, get the hell out of there.
The location's in a nice neighborhood, nothing threw me off until I walked in and saw the house. Dog shit everywhere. And when I say dog shit, manita, I'm telling you, like, you cannot walk anywhere without having to like step on 2 or 3 pieces of—
Wait, she's talking about literal dog shit? I thought you just meant that the house was really ugly.
of dog shit, literally hard, watery. And we had to do a love scene in the middle of dog shit. That kind of love scene where they did the nasty. Yeah, that was not fun.
Wait, girl, what shoot were you on? I think this just proves my point, you know? Make sure you know what you're walking into. Do your research about the production company. Have multiple meetings with the people that you're going to be working with. And I know she said there was no red flag, so sometimes it can be hard to tell, but more often than not, there's going to be someone you know out in the industry who knows someone who can tell you whether the particular person or production company is a no-go to work with. Get paid for your work, babies. Get paid. All right, our next story comes from Benny Matchup. Go and follow them on TikTok.
Hi guys, I'm Benny and I'm a photographer. So I just want to talk a little bit about my experience working in the media industry in Singapore. So I started when I was like really young. Cool. When I was like 14 or 15, I was already working on film sets as a production assistant and an assistant for the art director.
That's where we all start.
Okay, long story short, I used to like do parkour and did some like stuntman jobs and modeling, talent, acting stuff. And I made friends with some people, you know, who were working behind the scenes, and that's how I got some of the gigs. Now the thing is, I was working for the worst production company in Singapore. If you Google them, their like lawsuit comes out, I think they owe like money in like 6 figures. I'm not saying this is the company, but if you Google Two Oceans Singapore, you will see like a lawsuit lah. while I enjoyed like working and like learning things, man, the conditions were horrible. So a lot of these like production companies, right, would squeeze in like a like 4-day shoot into 2 days, and then you're working almost like 24 hour all the time. Look, I get it. Call times tend to like overrun, but whenever we saw the call sheet and they said 12 p.m., we're like, it's gonna end at like 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. And some of these budgets were like,
Okay, I was stressing about a 12-hour day, but like a 24-hour day? I feel like that's illegal, which is probably why this company has major lawsuits.
so horrible, or the producers were like so bad, right? There was one time where we were all like, you know, having lack of sleep for multiple days during the shoot, and on the last day the guy driving the production van was like, I need to return the van tomorrow, I cannot drive in this state, I'm too sleepy to continue doing work. And then the producer was like, oh yeah, you can do it tomorrow, but like no extra pay lah, cause you know, call time you need to be working during these hours. So then the guy was like damn pissed off, and then he was like, okay, what the fuck, never mind, I just drive back lor. So there I was, cause I was working for like, you know, as production assistant, so I had to go in this guy's van and like unpack the van at like the production house or whatever.
I feel like production assistants have such a shit time on set. You know, everybody says that this is why it's great, right? Because you start from the bottom, you experience the worst of the worst possible things that could happen on set. You have to get into cars with people who are going to crash because they're so tired. And you're often left with no choice too. I think that's the worst thing about being a production assistant, is that oftentimes, like, because you're so fresh to the industry, you don't know anyone, you don't have any experience, you're just kind of doing what you're told, right? Oh my god, it's horrifying that, and I know they've said that this production company was like notoriously bad, but you do hear about things, like even here in Australia, even on sets that I've been on, there's just like, the culture is so bad. I feel like I want to make a whole video about set culture and why it needs to change, but we'll get there.
He was like, okay Ben, I have a very important job for you, okay? Later when I drive, I need you to keep on talking to me and keep making noise. Just make sure that I don't fall asleep behind the wheel. And then like, you know, 15-year-old me was like, okay, can. So I just like keep on making a lot of noise. I was like talking to him. I was telling him about like fucking Pokemon and all this shit, right? And when we reached there, I told him, okay, you just sleep.
No, that will put him to sleep. I'm joking.
I'll unpack the whole van, and then I one person, this like 15-year-old, right, just unpack the whole production van, and I was like, okay, we're done. So yeah, working production in Singapore kinda sucks.
Ben, you're amazing. You are a queen. We salute you. All right, we've got a couple more. This next one is from Sane Carolyn on TikTok, I think is your name. Apologies if I said it wrong. Go follow Sane Carolyn on TikTok.
It's been a hot minute, so it's time for part 2 of my experiences on a film set.
Bring it. I'm ready.
So since the first time I'd been on a film set, I was actually now upgraded to a featured extra.
What an honor.
And it just so happened to be another beautiful period drama that was being filmed in Bath city centre. And if you don't know that...
Stop! I love Bath. If you haven't been to Bath, fuck, go to Bath. It's such a beautiful place in England. Doing period stuff in somewhere that is like so cinematic of a location that like still looks like how it was in the period that you're filming it for. Chef's kiss. That is like my dream. Jealous.
Don't know that place. It's a gorgeous Georgian city full of historical quirks and charm. It's beautiful. And you know, I just finished my makeup, I'd had my hair done, wardrobe had finished with me, and I was wearing this costume with these 2 quite heavy skirts. One overskirt and then a petticoat underneath that neither of them didn't quite fit. So wardrobe had to like pin them at the back with these really strong, big safety pins. And that's an important detail for later on in the story.
Right, everyone remember the big safety pins.
I'm in a great mood because I get to be on another film set and another period drama at that. So I'm walking onto set, I'm looking around me and I'm thinking, wow, I'm so lucky. And I noticed there's the director right there. like a couple of feet away from me. The producer is there, the first AD, so you know, nobody that you'd actually want to impress or anything. And I decided to say, hello, how are you? You know, as I was walking onto set. The words had barely left my mouth.
I think I know what's gonna happen.
Both my skirts dropped around my ankles, like full drop all the way down. And luckily, it was April, so it was still quite chilly, and I decided to keep my leggings on underneath my
got
skirts.
away with it.
But, I mean, bloody hell, if flashing the entire crew on my very first day isn't the way to a glittering career in film, I don't know what is.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing. I'm so sorry. That is really funny though. But imagine being on that set. I feel like it would be worth losing my skirt in front of the director and producer to be able to be on a film set in Bath filming a period drama. Come on. Alright, our next TikTok is from Jen_LaForce. Go and follow them on TikTok for more content.
My girlfriend got kissed by Sarah Paulson, and listen,
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not a jealous person in life, but this gets me feral. I thought I was jealous of Miss Sarah Paulson. Girl, be for real. I'm jealous of my girlfriend. That should have been me. I am the Mummy Milker Milf Lover Paulson stan. I feel like I need to put context to this story, so buckle up because I just have a feeling that the gays are in for one.
You are correct. Let's go. Also, why does she have a watermelon? Answer me, Genevieve.
No, my girlfriend works in the film industry as a second AC because, well...
Yes, we need more women in the friggin' camera department. According to the last, research of the top 250 grossing films in the US from, last year, I think, 2022, only 7% of cinematographers were women. That is a stupidly low statistic, and it makes me so mad every time I hear it. Get women in the camera department. I'm done.
Cameras are a big piece of machinery, so it's not just one person that takes care of it, it's a whole team. So you have the...
Particularly cinema cameras. I shoot videography stuff, as some of you may know, and I use the Sony I'm shooting on right now, which is yay big. I've done camera work with some of the slightly bigger Sony cameras, like the FX7 and FX9. If you start getting larger in production, then you start adding extra things onto the cameras. So it can even if the camera isn't even that big, all of the things that you attach to it, by the time that's done, these things can be huge and they're heavy. Anyways, that's why you got multiple people in your camera department. So it's not just one person having to handle all of these bits.
Operator that works with the DP to, well, operate the camera and execute the shot that they want according to their vision. But then that operator needs assistance. So he has the first AC who's responsible for the focus because, well, the focus is always manual. So there's someone behind focus pulling. And then you have my girlfriend who is the second AC, and she is basically the clapper loader. She'll help with lens changes, marking the actors, all that fun stuff. If you know anything about my girlfriend, is that she absolutely hates being in front of the camera, which is...
I'm sorry, I'm just... I can't listen to her story because I'm just watching her cut this watermelon and I'm scared she's gonna chop a finger off, which would be very, fitting for this Halloween themed video, but I really don't want it to happen. All right, I'm listening.
If you know anything about my girlfriend, is that she absolutely hates being in front of the camera, which is why her job is being behind. But as a second AC, she needs to call the shots. So being in front of the camera is inevitable. Basically, the operator and the DP got note that my girlfriend hated being on camera, and this little teasing war started happening where they would purposefully make her go in front of the camera for too long. Would call on her to do things in front of the camera just to tease her, basically. And guess who got wind of this little teasing war and wanted to be a part of it?
Sarah Paulson!
Sarah Paulson. I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose which show she was working on because my girlfriend signs NDAs for every show, but I feel like you can decipher. Basically, Sarah's teasing started small, where let's say my girlfriend was calling a scene and she had her arms in the air, she would come up and try and tickle her, right? The way I am already jealous and we're not even at the fun part. At one point, there comes a scene where I guess it was a really tight shot and my girlfriend had to call a scene that was extremely close to both the actors in the scene's faces.
This is like one of the biggest things that I've seen from people who are like learning how to be filmmakers and stuff with your clappers. The information on the clapper needs to be where the focus of the camera is. And sometimes when you're really close up, that means that the clapper's got to be like, wait, where is my clap? So if we were clapping for this particular setup, you would want this to be like pretty much like in front of my face so that you can read the information on it, right? So this is kind of like a medium shot, but if you've got something that's like super close, then you need the clapper to be super close. Also, if it's a really tight situation, the cameras can always pan away to actually find, you know, somewhere where the focus is away from the camera, clap it, and then move back. And that's why when you're calling the order of action on the set, part of that call will be cameras, you know, they'll say camera A set, which means that they're back in their original position, ready to roll up on the shot. There you go, little tips and tricks. Anyways, back to the video.
She goes to call the shot when Miss Paulson and Miss Elizabeth Banks are right here and they just go, my girlfriend turned bright red and I would give anything to see her face on the director's monitor. Anything! Before anyone calls like consent and stuff, like my girlfriend was asked continuously throughout production if their little pranks were going too far and she said to keep them coming. If you know my girlfriend, you know. And when my girlfriend found out that I was a Miss Paulson stan, she could not wait to tell me that story to rub it in my face. And it worked. So this is my call to action. Miss Paulson, I have kissed the cheek that you have kissed. That calls for a double date.
Oh, what a story. That's super cute. I love that. I love that for your girlfriend, and I hate that I'm not your girlfriend. All right, should we do one more? Let's do one more. Why don't we do one more? All right, this one is from money.mov. Go and follow them on TikTok for more content.
Film set horror stories. This one time, the extras on my own film thought my AD was the director because he was a man!
You hate to see it.
What is the scariest thing that's happened to you on a film set?
Probably the location kicking us out in the middle of the shooting day.
Oh, girl, that is one of my worst nightmares. Because then what do you do continuity-wise? Where do you go from here?
The scariest thing is to be on set 16 hours and they had no food.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is illegal. 16 hours? Why are we hearing about these long days? Oh, I really gotta make this set culture video because that is ridiculous. And no food? Are you joking? We've talked about being on sets for free. Another red flag when it comes to those situations is if they're not gonna feed you. Definitely, if this is you, if you're looking for people to work on your film set for free, you need to, like, bare minimum feed people.
One time I was editing a short film and I had to sync all of the sound manually.
My recorder didn't record the entire time.
Oh, devastating. Absolutely devastating. I feel like we've all been there though. We've all shot something and then looked at it and been like, yep, that didn't record.
I was working at a graveyard one time, and we had maggots that were involved. When I ripped off the fake head, all the maggots I got in my face and stuff, it was really gross.
Ew!
Having to wear a very large wig for 12 hours and then the wig glue not coming off and I'm ripping out my little baby hairs.
The day ended and then I went home and I had to realize I had to be back the next day.
I love filmmaking, but sometimes if you've had a really long and a really hard day, you come home from that, 10, 12 hour day, you get into bed, you're like, this is the best. And then you realize you have to be up at like 5 a.m. the next day. You're like, why did I do this? And then you see the film at the end and it makes it all worth it. All right, that was horrifying stories from film sets. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was something a little different for me. I normally, do a whole script essay type video, but this was really fun and I had a good time, so I hope you did too. If you want to see me do more videos like this in the future, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave your horrifying film set stories down in the comments. I would love to hear some of the terrifying things that have happened to you. We have heaps more film-related stuff on the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified when I next post a video. I hope you have a marvelously spooky and horrifying Halloween, and I will see you in the next video. This is starting to sound more and more like an adult film. You go right back there where you belong.